Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
It feels alright when they come and say to you, you're the only thing that makes us all believe.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is Talk of the Toon, and I'm just laughing at the comments. Ian Brownie and Gary having a bit of chat about my singing. What's the matter with me singing, lads? Come on, I don't need Malverno to sing. Anyway, I am joined by another singer, Sid, who was just played his latest gig. Welcome to Sid from his own channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. It's usually on the bottom there under Sid's name. Do you just want to give it a name check, Sid? I always let you do that.
Yeah, song from the 7, got a Queen show out this week, maybe it's tomorrow or certainly Thursday. So.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Welcome to the show as always. And we've got half an hour of Newcastle United debate, and then we'll be looking at some music with Rob, which I think we'll probably need a break from the football after half an hour. But Newcastle United continued their abysmal away form, said at the weekend, a 3-1 defeat at Brentford. Newcastle again taking the lead, said going 1-0 up, but not being able to build on it, and subsequently just a catastrophic error, I guess, from Dan Burn, which he got away with, then followed it up with another one, and just error after error, and a 3-1 defeat, disappointing. No points on the road at all this season, and of course nothing since April last year.
Yeah, just a couple of draws, I think, wasn't it? Leeds and Villa, but
no wins,
which is the key. I was talking to a guy after the gig on Sunday, actually, who said he watched the show. So hello to that gentleman who was there. He seemed very nice. I think he's in another band as well. Spanish. I can't remember the second part of the name, so I do apologize. But yeah, we were talking about the football, funnily enough, for a while after the gig. And yeah, I mean, I only watched on the plus side. I only saw the first half. And then I watched the rest of it when I got home. I stuck it on Match of the Day. And it was grim. I mean, the first half was weird because we were winning against the run of play, weren't we? You know, we were pretty poor. We had one shot, I think, in the whole game. Is that right? One shot on target in the whole game.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
And I mean, it was an absolute corker of a goal. I have to say, it was a real belter of a goal. Decent cross by Murphy, which seemed to be his only contribution to the game, unfortunately. Voltemade, lovely flick. Only decent contribution of the game, unfortunately. And then Barnes put a fantastic finish away where I thought he'd blown it when he cut from one side to the other, went onto his other foot, dummy to shoot, and I thought, and then he cut back in and hit an absolute belter through the keeper's legs. He's the best finisher at the club. He's absolutely the best finisher at the club. And his goal ratio works out at something like 1 in 4, which to me means he's got to stay in the team. Even if he doesn't do an awful lot at times, he's got to stay, because of his goal ratio is so good. I would keep him in the team ahead of Gordon. And if you're going to play Gordon at the minute, you could play him as a number 9. but that would mean we'll have to change the formation a little bit because Voldemort probably should still be in. But it was garbage, and I'm trying not to swear again. And sadly, is it the second time of the week I was correct with my prediction of 3-1, which is really sad, I have to say. I was hoping to absolutely be proven wrong and be delighted to be so, because who wants to see Newcastle getting beaten? Nobody. I was absolutely gutted. I mean, we were busy getting the gear together. And one of the lads goes, "It's 1-1." And me and Ian, who was playing sax, just looked at each other. And it was like, oh, we knew what was coming. We knew what was coming then, and it was just so depressing. Yeah, Chris is absolutely right. We were so sloppy, so slow. The passing was terrible. I mean, Bruno kept giving the ball away. Even Tonali, the best player at the club, was giving the ball away. He had a poor game. There's not many excuses out there. The only one that I have got is Joe Linton. The guy should have got a red card, in my opinion, for the challenge on Joe Linton. It was above his... Yes, he may have a little small shin pad on, but that's not really the point, is it? It was a poor challenge. It was a red card for me. Guy was over the top. I don't think it was an intentional over the top, but it was still over the top. And so it was it should have been a red card. And that might have changed the way of the game worked out. But we shouldn't be relying upon it. And the referee was so, I think. I think, personally, I thought they got both decisions right for the penalties. I thought the first one wasn't a penalty because he went down too softly. And I thought the second one was a penalty. So I sort of tended to agree with Match of the Day, actually, which doesn't happen very often, especially with Danny Murphy. But I did genuinely agree with him. I thought he was correct. But that's by the by. I mean, we were just awful. Defensively terrible. I thought Botman was awful again. And I know I've said it for a little while now, and it was nice to see the Geordie journals sort of give the same opinion as me when they actually said that we overrate certain players, and they basically mentioned Botman, and I think he's overrated. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a very good player, and he's not an excellent player. He's a good player, and as I said last week, the reason why he doesn't get picked for the Netherlands is because he's too slow. And I'm sorry, but I reckon I could have got the last goal. I could have caught that last ball, even with my two dodgy knees. I thought it was. He just went to sleep. It was really, really poor defending. Really, really poor defending. I thought he was awful. I thought he was absolutely terrible. And again, I know it's controversial. I would absolutely have Dan Burn and Chow as my centre back pairing, because I think Dan Burn's a better centre half. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, and that's absolutely fine. I'm entitled to my opinion. Wrong or right, whatever it may be, that's my opinion. I think Burn plays for England, and he does so because defensively, as a centre half, not as a left back, he's actually very, very good and reads the game very, very well. Has he got a cultured left foot and he's pinging it around like Franz Beckenbauer? No. He's much more like Jack Charlton. He gives the ball to players who can do that. And so he would definitely start for me. Chow, of course, was probably, along with Barnes, the only players who could actually come off the field and feel that they've done all right, or have the heads held high, or at least shoulder height, because some of them were appalling. Again, Bruno was, how many times is Bruno getting caught with the ball, trying to do some fancy flick? And unfortunately, there are questions over the manager now, aren't they? And it's Groundhog Day. It's literally almost the same as last season, where we were in this situation last season and saying, oh, Eddie Howe's probably got till Christmas to turn things round. He's got to do this, that, and the other. And my only concern is that this year, I don't see us going on a 9-game unbeaten run. I don't see that happening. And I'm hoping I'm proven wrong, of course. But at the moment, I don't see any signs to show how and where we're going to do that from. And I think the only way we are going to change things is, once the centre forward's back again. And I think this will make a huge difference. But we've got to be more front foot. And that means changing the formation. And if Eddie Howe is married to that formation of 4-3-3, then he's not the man, because that tells you he's not prepared to adapt enough. he's got to adapt more. He's got to do it. That's what all good managers do, and they'll change the formations. And again, this is just my opinion. As the England one comes on my screen, it's exactly the same formation. 4-2-3-1 is the way I would go, and I'd have Tino and obviously we would have the two young lads as the fullbacks. I've already explained my centre half pairing, and then I'd have Barnes on the left. I'd have Murphy on the right, and I'd have obviously Tonali, Bruno in the middle, and I'd put Volta sort of just behind the front man, which would be Visser. But at the moment, if Visser's not back for a little while, then I would play Anthony Gordon probably as the front man, just to create that pressure, because intensity is our identity, is absolutely long gone. I mean, we're getting out-pressed week after week. We got out-pressed the other day. We got out-pressed against West Ham. And I appreciate they're playing a number of games a week, but we're supposed to be able to cope with it. We've bought a number of players who, quite frankly, Chow's absolutely looking amazing. Volta looking pretty decent, to be fair, even though he's clearly not a number 9, and in my opinion, is a 10 and played out of position. And I feel heartily sorry for him, because the guy's got so much skill in vision in terms of being able to flick a ball around or pass it around. But we're not playing to our strengths, which is normally to attack fast, go fast forward, score goals. We're not doing any of that. So, and we're sitting way back at the moment. It's really, really poor. Eddie Howe has to find the solutions. I'm hopeful and confident that he can do it. But I think he still has a limited amount of time to do so, because if we're still in the same position or lower, God forbid, by Christmas, then I think he'd be gone by January, and I do genuinely think that.
Okay, lots of questions coming in from lots of people. Chris says, Stephen said most people would hate to see Eddie leave, but if you were the owner, how long would you persist if things don't improve? Does he have enough credit in the bank to finish 17th, for example?
No, is the answer. I mean, I said on the show previously that I would probably, even if we end up 15th, I would probably, but realistically, I think Newcastle have to be about 7th or 8th for the amount of money that they've spent. And if you're the owners and you've an ambition to be number 1, as they keep harping on about it, then why would you accept somebody finishing so low unless he wins a trophy again? And that is a distinct possibility. Would I accept 17th and winning the League Cup? Probably, And but yeah, it's a tough one. That would be a tough take. I think everything's exacerbated by the fact that Sunderland are doing so well as well. And I'm not one of these who gets mightily het up by the Mackhams. I don't really pay much attention, and to be brutally honest, although I did mention them, my friends have come back from the dead.
Yeah,
all of a sudden. But I think that's the other big bugbear and the big thing, and that's causing all the issue with a number of the fans, and people are wetting themselves over it, which again I've never really quite gotten and understood, but it's up to them, So no, he's got to turn it around. I don't think he's lost the team. Absolutely not, Marcus. I really don't think he's lost the team at all. He just needs to adapt a little bit more, is my opinion. And he's obviously a guy who's prepared to progress and change things. You don't go on a year's secondment to various other teams and check out how they play in their formations if you're not prepared to change, which he did do. Because Eddie was, remember, at Bournemouth, a 4-4-2 man, and people seem to forget that. And then he came to Newcastle and suddenly turned to 4-3-3. And he's played 5 at the back as well. I think the issue I have, and I find that I find with Eddie Howe, is that once he's changed the formation, he stick to it regardless. So when we got 5 at the back against Arsenal and we beat them, we just stayed there for a little while. And I'm thinking, well, surely it should be horses for courses, not all of the time. So, for example, when we were 1-0 up at half time against Brentford, why didn't he then go 5 at the back, let's say, and shore it up and make it really, really tight and then hit them on a break? And I wouldn't have had any problem with that, So I just think he's reactive rather than proactive. And I think he gets himself set too much in terms of a mindset of once we're doing this has worked really well, or it worked against Arsenal, then it's going to work against everybody. But obviously it doesn't. And he's not a stupid man. He's clearly a very, very intelligent and articulate man. But I would just like to see a little bit more game management and being better at it, because when it's worked in the past, we've said, oh, Eddie Howe masterclass against Arsenal last year in the League Cup, and it was. But he needs to. And then we've seen other games, West Ham being a prime example, when it was atrocious, and he just puts players in everywhere. Like Steve Bruce, you can play there, you can play there, you can play there, and they're all out of position, and it didn't make sense. And then again this weekend as well, where everybody could see that Dan Burn had to come off, especially when he got a yellow card and got away with that penalty decision. You're thinking, well, this guy's got him on toast. And I'm not blaming Dan Burn, by the way, because he's not a left back. He's just unlucky to be there. So Howe has to accept quite a big chunk of the blame. He has to. And I'm still, jury's out on some players, but I'm not convinced by some of our purchases. And I've said this before. Elanga looks atrocious. He's had 4 months at the club now. What has he done? Absolutely nothing. He's been awful. And people can harp on as much, always got to adapt this, that, and the other. But then we've looked at other players who've gone from other clubs. And Bueno, has he adapted at Manchester United and took 4 months to do so? He's gone in there and started banging the goals in and looks fantastic. So, and he was apparently one of our choices. And then you've got, others have banged the drum over for a bit with Semenyo and all those guys. Those guys would have just come in and done a job. And we shouldn't really have to be waiting for a guy to adapt. And Ramsey, as I said last week, is just, for me, an upgrade on Jacob Murphy, which is all well and good, but you need other players who can do a job. And people say, oh, he's tidy. But what did he do? What did he do? He didn't. If you're spending 40, 45 million on a midfielder, I want to see a bit more. I want to see somebody who's got some proper good end product. And he might come and be absolutely sensational second half of the season. And I hope he is. Hope he gets in the England squad. But at the minute, I'm not seeing it. So there are big questions about some of the guys that we've bought, because they're either no better than what we've got or worse. I mean, as I say, Murphy gets ahead of the guy we've spent 53 million pound on. That tells you all you need to know. And people were harping on for ages about getting an upgrade, and clearly we haven't. So,
what about Tom's question? Do you think it's time to start Ramsdale rather than Pope?
Yeah, well, I said last week it was, Tom. I said last week it was time to start him, and unfortunately it proved to be the case the other day. I mean, he's punching. It was like he had paper hands. It was just pathetic, wasn't it? He's a great shot stopper, but I'm sorry, but he's cost probably in the last 2 games certainly at least 3 goals you could attribute to Nick Pope's goalkeeping. Possibly 4. There's an argument for 4, but certainly 3. So yeah, definitely. I felt sorry for the lad. His first moment was to come out, and pick the ball at the back of the net. It's not great for him, but he's a good goalkeeper. And this is a point I was going to make, and nobody's mentioned this on anything I've seen, is when we went on the 9-game run last year, Dubravka was the keeper for most of those games. For virtually all of those games, Dubravka was the number 1. And he was really harshly dropped, in my opinion, at the time, because all of a sudden we were further up the pitch, because his footwork was miles better, and we were confident with his passing. His saving was pretty decent as well. So Ramsdale is a slight upgrade on Dubravka, and I'm not saying it's massive, but it's a slight upgrade. So that tells you, to me, that it's got to change, and we've got to sort of change things a little bit. So yeah, it's got to, and it might suddenly flip. But we're all terrified of our next series of fixtures, because you look at Man City and you think, well, I mean, I've tipped them to win the league earlier on in the season, and I'm sticking with that. And I'd love to see it happen in terms of the fact that the Arsenal manager would lose his job. But Everton away, tough game, never an easy one. And then I think we have Sunderland after that, So it's tough. It's tough times.
It is. I made a point last night about Volta. I just said, and I've got to be honest, I've since listened to a couple of the other podcasts. Craig Hope made the same point as I made last night, which is that, Volta is a positive and a negative in a lot of ways. He's positive because he's hit the ground running. He's not an out and out striker, but he's managed to, get some vital goals in since he signed for Newcastle. But he does drop too deep, and unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, we're not high pressing. We're getting out pressed at times, but a lot of that I feel is down to the fact that Voldemort sits too deep. He sits on top of the midfield, and our wingers haven't been able to adapt to Voldemort, which is what Dean is saying. And Tom's suggestion is that once Wissa's back, drop Joe Linton and play Voldemort in midfield, feeding Wissa, which is interesting because Joe Linton hasn't.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's interesting, and I think as well.
Sorry, Steve. So I'll be rude there. If you look at I saw the data that came up with regards to Voldemort the other day, and his average position in the match was the halfway line. Now, could you imagine saying to Malcolm McDonald, your average position is going to be the halfway line, Malcolm? We hope you're all right with that. Unless they're lobbing the ball over the top and he's going to run onto it, he'd have just laughed. Same with Shearer, same with Les. All the great centre forwards, there's no way they're going to be there. Their job is to be mooching around the edge of the box and then make those darting runs to the front or to the back or wherever they go to bang the ball into the back of the net. It's not to hang around the centre half line unless we're defending and then we're going to hit them on the break. That's the only time I would expect to be that. Or in a corner. Can I also add regards to corners? I do not understand why when we've played Anthony Gordon, they've got him in the box. Stick him on the edge of the halfway line. He will then take two players away to mark him, and it frees up the defence a little bit more. I don't understand it. Because he's as much use as I am at headering the ball. So, get somebody else up there. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I hate doing these shows when you're on a real downer because it's an absolute sickener, isn't it? Because as I said, none of us want to sort of harp on and go, oh, we're all doomed and with this, that, and the other. How can still turn it round? Do I have faith he will? I'm really not sure. And that's down to the players, their attitudes. It's also down to the manager being prepared to adapt and change things up a little bit. And I'm sure he's got all of that in him. And I'd love nothing more to see him do it and be here for the next 10 years. I really would,
Marcus says Voldemort reads definitely come from the middle of the park. That's not going to change. You've got to adapt. Germany are having the same issue with Nick. He's dropping real deep, but at least the wingers are running the channels. Roger says, will we ever see any formation changes from Eddie Howe when Wisser is fit? Surely playing him and Nick regularly wouldn't lower an injury risk. And I would change to 4-2-3-1 formation with Voldemort behind a centre forward, but Wisser has to be fit, says Tom. I mean, it's going to be interesting when Wisser is fit. I mean, when will he be fit is the big question. But he's got a lot of things to
and will he go to the African Cup of Nations?
Yeah, but I mean, there are always rumours flying around. People were saying he was going to be back October, November. We're getting closer to December, really, by the time we play again next. And is he going to be fit for December? I get it. They don't want to rush him. But yeah, he's got big decisions to make. I think he's got big decisions to make at the back. I mean, Lewis Hall is going to be coming back in. You would imagine that means Dan Burn, obviously, who's suspended for the next game, will undoubtedly, have to fight his way to get back into the team. But Botman isn't playing well. We know Eddie likes Botman. Will he like Burn? Will he put Burn alongside Chow when he comes back? And there's so many questions. What's going to happen at right back when Tino Livramento is fit? Bearing in mind, Tino Livramento finished last season as left back. Is he going to get a chance of playing right back again, or is he going to put him left back and Hall's going to find himself on the bench? There's loads of unanswered questions.
Hall looked fantastic the other day, though, when he came on and almost created a goal. To be fair, Elanga was actually there to tap it in, so kind of knock him for that. But yeah, you've got to play Hall. You've got to play Livramento. They've got pace. Hall's not lightning, but he's quick enough. Tino, obviously, is very, very quick. Chow's very, very quick. And then Dan Burn, who's not, for me. And I would certainly be playing those. Absolutely. And having a keeper as well, and allows us to push for 10 yards further up with Ramsdale. I just think it has to change. Howe's got to change it up. And if he goes 5 at the back, he might do it against Man City, and I can sort of hold my hands up and say I understand why he would do that. But if he starts doing that at like Sunderland away and against Spurs at home and all the rest of it, yeah, I would really fear for his position, because we've got, for me, he's got to if we can get to January the 1st and we're about 10th, 11th, then I think we have a real chance to kick on for the second half of the season. But he's got to get to that point. And of course, it's more than achievable. So please don't say that I'm being all negative and he's always gone and this, that, and the other, because I don't want to see any of that.
I think you've been quite reserved, to be honest, mate. And I thought the fans forum were quite reserved last night. I was expecting a nightmare of a show from the lads last night. But
I don't understand the whole Eddie out malarkey, because the guy won a cup. We've been fans long enough where we thought we'd never see us win anything in our lifetime, Steve. We had the best moment of my football supporting life, being at the cup final this year, and the guy has therefore produced, and I think you have to give him the credit that he deserves, and you have to give him a little bit of time, But remember, that does not therefore allow to say we're going to go the whole season and be 17th at the end of the season, really, unless we win the League Cup, because it's not good enough.
How do we fix it? How do we fix it? Gary says we can't just do it like last time and drop Tonali into the 6 because we've got fundamental issues with the team. Where would you start, Sid?
Well, as I said, it's the formation. I think the formation has to change, and as it's unlikely that this is going to start the next game, but he allegedly may well be on the bench, then as I would definitely have either Voltemade along with just behind the front man, and have Anthony Gordon probably up front. I mean, because Asula's again coming back from an injury as well. So, in as much as I hate seeing Anthony Gordon up front, when he did play up front at the beginning of the season, we were actually pretty decent. Those first few games, we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Barnes will score goals, and I'm hoping that with Voltemade there, then he will actually contribute as well. If that were the way I played, 4-2-3-1, definitely, and just make Tonali hold a little bit more, and Bruno hold, but with it allowing him to go forward a tad more as well. And not playing the advanced midfielder, because I'd let Voltemade do that. However, is Voltemade able to do the sort of defending and tracking back bit as well? That's the other question. Joe Linton's not been great. He's not terrible though. He started off all right actually the day, and then got injured, and was decent the day before, a couple of days before. I thought he was man of the match against Bilbao, but I think that's the only way forward. He's got to change it up, though, and the keeper's a massive one. I think the keeper's a massive decision, and he's got to bite the bullet and choose the keeper.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, Paul, you're misunderstanding certainly what I'm saying anyway about Voltemade. He's been brilliant, mate. He's been a really good player. He's a class player, and I don't think anybody is singling him out for criticism. I think the problem is that the team hasn't been able to play to his strengths and are struggling to work out what the system is, and that's down to Eddie and his coaches. He needs to get that sorted out. So it's an interesting conundrum.
I always said, Steve has succinctly put there. It's down to Eddie to resolve that issue, but it's been quite a while now, hasn't it? And you said it exactly right. It's exactly what I would have said. So it's up to Eddie how to resolve that issue.
So. Yeah, it is. I mean, massively is. And let's just hope that when Wissa comes in, going to be a lot of pressure on the kid. Let's hope he can hit the ground running. 18 goals, I think it was, he scored last season.
I'm absolutely confident in him. I think he's a top centre forward. I really do think he's a top centre forward. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we are halfway through the show. It is time for the ads, and then we'll be looking at a little bit of music with Rob.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickys.co.uk, email info@mrvickys.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com, telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.
And it's welcome to Rock and Rob for his music review, and the music that he won't be reviewing today is William Shatner, So Fragile, So Blue.
Yeah, you see.
Good stuff, Rob.
Novelty, yeah.
How are you, mate?
I'm okay. How are you both?
Good, mate. Good. It's hard not to think of William Shatner without thinking of the Stevie Nicks gag, like, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
So what are you bringing us today, Rob?
Marcus requested this a few weeks ago. It's Led Zeppelin's House of the Holy. I didn't realize I had a copy, but I do, and it's a promotional copy I have. 1972. This cover was banned. It's still banned on Facebook, as far as I'm aware, because it has naked children on the cover. So this 1972. It was this picture of it now as well. I don't know if you can see that. It was filmed Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland during the height of the Troubles. So yeah, great album. I forgot how good this was. So it starts with the song remains the same. I mean, the bass line, this album, to me, this is the best Led Zeppelin album there is, for me personally. Bass line in this, unbelievable. I think the interaction between, John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page is absolutely unbelievable. You've got John Bonham, obviously, with stable, massive, big sound. Brilliant production on this one. Absolute masterpiece. To me, this song, it's Jimmy Page's best piece of work, as far as I'm concerned. Unbelievable song. You've got the Rain song next. It's really emotional, very spiritual, very heartwarming. It's one of those songs, it's like a medicine for your soul sort of thing for me. Brilliant, beautiful 12-string guitar by Jimmy Page. Very passionate vocals on this. The orchestra section on it is so moving as well. It blows me away. I could go on and on and on about the songs, but I'm just, off the top of my head, how it feels for me. You've got Over the Hills and Far Away. Now, who's got in their head Teletubbies come out to play? Top drawer song, this as well. Extremely, extremely clever acoustic intro on this one. To me, it's one of those. You've got Neil Peart with Rush. You've got, your favourite musician saying, how did they do that? How did they do that? I don't get that anymore in music. But it's one of those moments for me. It's brilliant. It kicks in after the first verse. It's absolutely outstanding. It's every member of the band in sync to perfection as well on this one. really sort of short, snappy, in and out sort of song. They got the grunge. To me, this is James Brown meets the Chili Peppers. If you the Chili Peppers Mother's Milk album, you listen to the song Magic Johnson. 100%. Very, very on a par with that. It's the same vibe. Absolutely stunning. Brilliant song. Really funky, really bluesy, really snappy. Good fun as well and quite unexpected. Then you got the B-side, or Backed With, or BW. Dancing Days, sort of quite psychedelic, this one, an opener. Really, really good chord change on this one as well. Again, every second line of every verse, it's straight down blues, hard rock. To me, this song does what it says in the tin. It's a Ron Seal for me. Then you've got I don't like this song, Jamaica. It's yeah, I know, Sid. It's a bit. Where did that come from? Yeah, and it's sort of reggae dub, very unusual for me. It sounds like it should have been, like a breakfast cereal advert in the 1980s or something like that. Not keen on that one.
Oh, we've lost him.
More trippy.
He's
still
back.
here.
You're back. Yeah, your internet dropped out, but you're back, mate. We didn't lose a great deal.
Psychedelic, really, really, really good, like rack tom parts by Bonzo. Sublime bass runs again, absolutely brilliant. And again, John Paul Jones' keyboard parts, his keyboard work is like absolutely outstanding. I think don't pay attention to it much when you're younger, but now you're older, you go back and listen, you deep dive, and you get this more appreciation for me. Absolutely brilliant. This is one of those songs to contemplate on life and just sort of think things over. It's one of those songs that sort of take you there again in your mind, but it is Led Zeppelin, it can do that to you. Then you've got The Ocean, last song. 8 songs in this one, and it is sadly that the album comes to an end on this one, but it's been an emotional journey for me, and I get how good this was. The song has been sampled so many times by so many artists, a lot of reggae, sort of dance, 90s sort of trancey sort of bands. Hip hop covered this a lot. Very iconic. If you don't know the song, listen to The Ocean. As soon as you hear the beginning, you'll know it. It's one of those ones. Again, the riff on this as well. Just pretty speechless for this album. It's just unbelievable. And I was watching an interview with one of the guys who was 2 years old when the pictures were taken, and he spoke to his mum, and he thinks he's been sort of like some sort of Jimmy Page for Alistair Crowley's house, that sort of thing. And he's wondering why his mum allowed him at 2 years old to get his picture taken. And if you look at it as well, I mean, it does look like an apocalyptic sort of hell in a way, and at the end, it looks like some sort of like sacrifice sort of thing, or to the gods, which wouldn't surprise me. With Led Zeppelin, but it's a lot of mystery to it, and I think this is the first album that was called an album. Like, it wasn't 1, 2, 3 Houses of the Holy. Yeah, and also John Paul Jones did produce the second Mission album called Children. Very, very bad production, but a lot of stunning songs on it. Really, really, really thoroughly enjoyed listening to the album again, Marcus. Absolutely brilliant. Again, it was a 5th studio album. Really loved it. So thank you very much. And that's getting a 10 out of 10. But the only weak song for me is Jamaica. Not keen on that. But everything else, absolute classic. But everybody, go and listen to The Ocean. Please do. Let me know when you do, because I do try and prompt and direct people to just go and just give this a listen to just the intro and see what you think of it.
We've had a lot of...
Is that the House of the Holy was on the next album on Physical Graffiti, wasn't it? The song.
yeah, correct. Yeah,
I had a lot of people suggesting you do this. This is apparently a genuine album, unbelievably. And this has got more of a figure of being a song album that you won't review. But thanks to Mark Byers and everybody else who sent us that, Legacy Magpie, etc. Quite a few sent us that.
Is a B-side called Bend It?
Really? Unbelievable. Yeah, but I'm not going to give that a listen in my album challenge either. Sid, what have you got for us this week?
Well, on Saturday, I went out and I got absolutely hammered after the gig. So much so that on Sunday morning when I was singing with the band, I was thrown up at 11 o'clock. Karen was just shaking her head saying, I've got no sympathy for you, but there you have it. But before then, I had the good pleasure of going to see the Boomtown Rats. It was sold out. They were absolutely fantastic. And I'm reviewing Tonic for the Troops, which is an absolute top-notch album, in my opinion. It was their second album, produced by Mutt Lange in 1978. Came out, I think it's about, is it June? I can't remember, of 78. So it was the second album. And the Wounded Rats are a funny band because people forget they're not one of the other bands who toured with the Pistols and the Clash and all those, and they always get forgotten. And they were always hated by the press. The press absolutely hated them, probably because Geldof's, obviously, as we know, quite mouthy, and they didn't like that aspect of him. But, you know, to each their own. And I think it's a great album. It starts off with Like Clockwork, which was a big hit single, got to number 6 in 1978, written by Geldof, Pete Briquette, the bass player, and the drummer Simon Crowe. Fantastic opening. Got a magnificent Wurlitzer keyboard sound on it as well. It's just brilliant. Love the drums on it. Brilliant. The production on this album, by the way, is fantastic. So great opener. We've then got Blind Date, which is like a sort of heavy pulsating drum rhythm to start with. And obviously the title tells you what it's all about. Super song. We've then got I Never Loved Eva Braun, which is a great title. And it's a song from the perspective of Hitler, as you do. And he's got some lines in it like, did you ever see me touch a scrap of meat? Which is a great line. And then he uses the line, a little too ambitious, maybe, but I never loved Eva Braun is the line. And then he goes into the chorus. And it's one of the standout tracks on the album. It's really powerful, really catchy. And it was fascinating to watch him do this the other night because there was a load of people singing along to it, but a load of younger women there singing, which I was really fascinated the fact that they sort of knew it. But great song. What an absolute banger that is. Great tune. Then we've got Living on an Island, which is, again, it sounds really happy, but it's actually about depression. So it's quite dark. The title Living on an Island gives you a clue, really. Then Don't Believe What You Read, magnificent song. Sadly, of course, the theme still applies to today, but it is brilliant, really catchy. We've then got the next single on the album is She's So Modern, which I think was the first single released off it, which is just a brilliant pop song, and it's got the catchy line, She's So 1970s, which is mad now to think the 70s was like 50 years ago. Is just crazy. The next 3 tracks didn't feature on the US version of the album. They were replaced by Mary the Fourth Form and Joey's on the Street Again, which is a great song, by the way, which I don't understand why they weren't on, but there you have it. Me and Howard Hughes, of course, the Reclusive Billionaire, which is a great tune, really super song. And to be a billionaire in the 70s is like mental when you think about the value of cash now. Can't Stop, really catchy song. And then Watch Out for the Normal People, again, really, really, really good sort of new wave tune. So the album's very new wave. And then it finishes off with Rat Trap, which for me would, if I had to pick my 20 greatest songs of all time, Rat Trap is definitely in there. Obviously about being trapped in life and trying to escape the life that you've been brought up in. It's absolutely just perfection. Of course, Top of the Pops, when it was on, I remember watching it as a kid, and that had the pictures of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and they started tearing up the posters and threw them, and then went into Rat Trap with Bob Geldof playing the candelabra saxophone. It was just brilliant, really rebellious. It was also the first new wave song to get to number 1 in the UK. So, yeah, it's just a fantastic album. I genuinely love it. It's 5 stars all day long, and I play it regularly. Love it. What a great album. And
Okay.
as for films, I've gone with, and it's Casablanca. It's away, man. What can you say? It's just brilliant. Shot in 1942, released in January 1943. It obviously stars Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. It is one of the greatest films of all time. I mean, I'm not going to give away the story. We've all either seen it or you should have seen it. And if you haven't, what have you been doing? It's on what's his name's wall, isn't it? On the Monday night. It's on his wall, hence the fact I picked it when I watched it the other week.
Is it on Jeff's wall?
No,
Darren's wall.
Darren's wall. So they've got a picture of the piano player. You know, when he goes, "Play it, Sam." They don't ever use the phrase "play it again, Sam," do they? Which was the great myth. It's "play it, Sam." And of course you've got Bogart, and you've got that the references to World War II. Obviously, you've got the Nazis. You've got the whole thing. It's set in Morocco, of course, and you've got the Czech resistance leader. You've got Ingrid Bergman, his previous love, who we didn't realise, who just left him. We didn't know why. And then there's that moment where they're sort of back again. And Bogart, is he going to, the character Rick, is he going to do the right thing, or is he going to run off with that? Then obviously, you know the rest of the story. So he's a great anti-hero. I mean, what do you want? It's brilliant soundtrack, anti-hero film, battle against the Nazis. It's absolute perfection. It really is one of the greatest films of all time. It's so stylistic as well. The scenes are just brilliant. It's funny. I do like The Death of Stalin. Actually, a good film. And we'll do that. So, yeah, fantastic film. I cannot recommend it enough. One of the greatest films of all time. So there we have it. Casablanca. Everybody should see it.
Yeah, I have seen it. But, see, before I go, Steve, I'm sorry if I look like I'm giggling, but somebody put in the comments, and I guessed it, said as soon as you said blind date, somebody put, I was contestant number 3, what's your name and where are you from? And then I started thinking about Vic and Bob. My name is Bill Decker and I'm a murderer. Sorry.
So Sid's going to have a week off next week, but Rob, you're going to join us on one of the shows. I think you're going to send us a bit of a pre-record over. I'll probably do a live myself next Tuesday. So look forward to Rob's review next week. Thanks very much, mate. Take care. See you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Rob.
Marcus.
Look after yourself. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, mate. Bye-bye.
Good stuff. Always good to have Rob on. And thanks to everybody for the reviews. Keep them coming. Stick them in the comments under the video. And Rob always picks them up and has a look. Blue Rhythm Boy wants to keep on the music theme. He says, what's your thoughts, lads, on the change to the walkout music at St James's Park? So, yeah, Newcastle officially confirmed that they're not going to come out the local hero anymore. Are you sad to see it go? Or, are you happy with them trying to find something different? Blade and Races, of course, is what the players have apparently said they like coming out.
Crap version of the Blade and Races, though, isn't it? It's rubbish, that version. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that version of the Blade and Races. Obviously, the Blade and Races has to be part of the routine of songs that we come out to. So I love, openly say this here, I love the fact that they have Blitzkrieg Bob, because I'm a huge fan of the Ramones. I think that's great. Let it stay. Definitely love the fact that we have Local Hero. And again, I don't really mind at what point that they put it on. As long as it's on, I really don't care whether it's just before or when they come out. Definitely happy with Blade and Races. I do not want to hear that bloody Beatles song anymore. And I used to love Hey Jude. I cannot listen to it anymore now. It's played in every ground in the country. It's just become absolutely ubiquitous. I mean, it was played at Brentford the other day, wasn't it? I heard them all singing it before the match. I'm just sick of it. And it's got nothing to do with us. I would personally, and I've said this before, my choice would be Go For It by Stiff Little Fingers. That's what I'd get them to come out with, which SLF come out to. And it's a great one. The whole crowd go, da, 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 la, da. That would be my choice. But and there is, of course, a Northeast connection with that. Or AC/DC. I have no problem with that as well. So I would have something that has a connection to the Northeast. I'm not sure if Sam Fender would have a song that would fit in perfectly. I'm not sure he does. And can I add as well, when we leave, some of the songs he plays at the end are absolutely rubbish. And Run for Home is the obvious song to put on. Just stick the bloody chorus of it on by Lindisfarne. It's absolutely perfect. Put it on, please. Run for Home.
I think we seem to be changing DJs. Rob Byron doesn't seem to be doing every match now, so I think that probably affects what we hear different times. Rob's got a good selection of music. He used to run Steel Wheels in town, of course, so he usually judges the crowd quite well. But the new kid who they seem to have on every now and then seems to be, I don't know, more of a modern DJ maybe.
Yeah, and if they don't want it, I'm happy to do it. Just give us a shout, folks.
Yeah, give them a shout. Okay, as we're not doing a show with you next week, we can look ahead to Man City, which is probably the earliest I've ever looked ahead to a game. But Newcastle return to action after the international break when Pep Guardiola brings Manchester City to Tyneside on Saturday, November the 22nd. And that's a 5:30 kickoff live on Sky Sports. Dan Burn will be suspended following his red card at Brentford. No other things I can really give you other than that because it's so far in advance. But trust everybody is fitting well by that stage. Other than, I mean, we'd like to think Wissa would be available as well. But I mean, we've talked a lot about the team and whatever and how we had changed things and what you'd change. What would you like to see in that game? I mean,
I'd like to see the match because I suspect I might be watching it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your feeling?
I really don't know. It's one of those where we might get something out of it, or we could get absolutely tonked, and I think there'll be nothing in between. I don't see it being like seeing 2-1 like the Man City. I don't see it being like that. I think they'll either win 5-1 or it'll be 2-2. I think it'll be one of those games. I'm going to go with 2-2. Actually, you know,
I think it'll be a high-scoring draw. You know, I think it'll be like that Man City game the other season. Was it 3-3?
Yeah,
yeah, it's got that kind of feeling.
Would I take it? Absolutely, would take it. But Eddie's got to earn the big bucks now and sort of. I'm not saying pull his finger because I've no doubt he's in there at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever ridiculous time he's in at work, doing all the things he does, but he has to go with it. It has to be something with Brian Johnson, doesn't it? You know, so I really don't mind. What would you go with, Steve?
I love Back in Black. I think that's a great song. And I think Sam Fender, if you had a Sam Fender one in the mix, I wouldn't come out to it, but Hypersonic Missiles is another one that you would get.
Actually, that is a good song. I've seen him do that in a little pub once when he was supporting a band called the Skywalkers, who are a brilliant blues band.
Keith Strong for that as well. Yeah, but Back in Black, I think, is good enough.
I'm happy with.
Thunderstruck's been played a few times.
One in it, you know, they did a little, yeah. Those are the two. I think Thunderstruck, Back in Black.
And the Sandman's a good suggestion by David J as well.
Nah, not for me. Nah.
I do like that song. Sham 69 of the Kids Are United.
I absolutely bought it in 1978 when it came out, so I'm just putting that out there. So it is. I absolutely love it. If the Kids Are United, it is a fantastic song. I have no problem with Sham 69 coming out to that. Although I did go to see them once, and I was chased by the National Front at the Riverside gig many years ago. But that's another story.
You shook me all night long. Stephen says, has it not been Shaw that for the last 3 years has kept Haaland in check? Would you bring him back in against Man City?
How can you drop Shaw? Unless you bring him in as the sort of left, as the right-sided guy and put Chow left. Possibly, but I don't think it's as simple as that. Haaland looks absolutely electric at the moment, and he seems to have improved his game a little bit as well. He seems to have a little bit more to him, and that's just going to sound stupid in it, than just being a goal machine. He seems to have a little bit more. Whereas in the past, you've had guys who were goal machines and had a bit to the game. Ian Rush is always the one that's jumped out to me. Whereas Gary Lineker was just a goal machine. But I think Haaland's definitely going down that route now of having a little bit more to him. And obviously, he's been coached by the best man out there, isn't he? So, yeah, keeping him quiet will be something. Let's hope he pulls up a little niggle for the game before, and then he's back to normal the week after. That's what I'm hoping for, because he's fantastic.
Is Eddie Howe becoming a cup manager, Sid?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'll be honest. At the beginning of this season, when I saw the players that we bought, if we'd had a centre forward at the beginning of the season, I'm going to be dead open about this. I was tipping us to be in the top 2 or 3. You know, I really was. And so if I look stupid, then so be it. But I thought, well, we'll have a centre forward. We'll stop banging them in. We're going to continue that form that we had the previous season. And that's why the current form has absolutely flummoxed me. House of the Rising Sun's a great song as well, of course. The other one I meant that I should have mentioned, absolutely, I would love to see Newcastle coming out to Apache by the Shadows.
Not the Toy Dolls, they're Mackems, aren't they?
The Mackems anyway. Whereas Hank and Bruce were in the same class as my father-in-law at Rutherford Grammar. And absolutely, Apache, that's it. That's my number one choice. Apache by the Shadows. Yeah.
Just a couple of mentions. Sid will be DJing at the Christmas Do, which is £12 a ticket. nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. Warren Barton and Joe Allen doing a little talking. Adam Henderson's doing an acoustic set, and Sid will be DJing. So get yourself onto the website for that. And the book is arriving tomorrow. So some of you will have already, should already be getting it. It should be arriving on your doorsteps, I should have said tomorrow. Posted them all out. All the orders have gone out. So if you would like one now, the books are here. Order the promoter and the photographer book, only £10 from NUFC Matters. And a lot of fun writing that, me and Singe. And all proceeds from that book are going to Age UK North Tyneside Dementia, as are all the ticket money from an evening with Warren Barton. So that should be a great night as well. Looking forward to seeing as many of you there as possible. And thank you, as always, for your support. We always like to give you the stats. Our updates from last month: 236 new uploads, 24 new subscribers, total views 145.3 thousand, and total minutes watched last month 2.1 million. Thank you for your support. We'll never take it for granted. We love having you on the channel and supporting us. So thank you very much for that. Sid, enjoy your week off, mate. I know you're going to be working in the house, busy. But
I won't be working at all. I'll just pay people who can do it,
Good stuff. Look forward to seeing you at the Christmas get together, though, mate.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you back on here the following week, mate. So have a good evening. Take care.
See you soon. Take care, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.